that man loves me so much. And, look what we built. We've built a beautiful life and we have 2 healthy, beautiful children. If you haven't noticed, my husband's very, very handsome.
It's so fake.
Like, this can't be real.
Oh, he's such a great partner.
It sucks.
Are you joking?
It's
This is
bad.
terrible.
You suck. You suck.
Mm.
I feel that.
What? Stop. All of it is fake.
Yeah, that's embarrassing.
I don't like it.
You're talking nonsense. It's stupid.
Right? I feel that every day in how supportive he's been. He's also a fox.
You're ugly.
It's weird, right?
I get another lecture from you, I'm going to go crazy.
Oh my gosh, I work so hard.
Shut the fuck up. You're a fucking idiot.
Meghan Markle is making noise in the headlines again, and not in the way people usually expect. This time, it's not about a big project or some polished public appearance, but something way more messy and emotional that has people talking non-stop. She's showing up on podcasts, getting teary-eyed, and still putting her name out there with a royal title that technically isn't hers anymore. And that alone already has people raising eyebrows everywhere. At the same time, behind all that public emotion, there's a pattern that people just can't ignore anymore. Staff members keep leaving, one after another, like there's a revolving door spinning non-stop behind the scenes. And while that alone might look like normal workplace drama on the surface, a lot of folks are starting to connect the dots and wonder what's really going on underneath all the polished interviews and carefully chosen words. Because once you peel back that glossy layer, things start to look way more complicated than just emotional interviews and tabloid gossip. There are whispers about lawsuits, growing public backlash, and rumors stacking up one after another, pointing towards something deeper.
Oh my gosh, look at all these photos about last night. ... Thank you, Beyonce and team, for an amazing concert and a very fun date night. All love. Girl, she didn't invite you to the concert.
She wants all of the privileges that go along with an identity, but she doesn't want any of the responsibilities. She doesn't want to do any of the work. She wants the tiara. She doesn't want the public service.
You know, I mean, she used to be on
Was
Deal or
he
No
infiltrated?
Deal. Look, she was on Deal or No Deal.
Yeah, that's right.
And then the wife convinces you to leave the royal family. Like, I'm out. I don't need you guys. Which is crazy, because don't you just get free money?
Oh, we want our privacy and safety, but we'll go be at Beyonce concerts and do whatever we want. Oh, look at him.
Reopen British markets for American companies. All that Britain demands in return is that we keep these two.
No, I refuse. I'm sick of it. No, I don't want them. It's just that they are so ridiculed all over the place.
And it seems like that lady is a temptress. She's a siren. She's lured him into the rocks.
Something messier, and maybe even something a little shady if you really pay attention. At this stage, some people online aren't even holding back anymore, throwing out wild takes and sarcastic comments like, it's open season. One viral comment even joked that they'd trust an astronaut impersonator before taking advice from Meghan Markle. And that kind of reaction shows just how far public perception has shifted lately. So when Meghan sat down with Jamie Kern-Limer, a self-made billionaire known for her motivational energy and success, people expected something real, something raw, something honest that would finally clear the air. The podcast was supposed to be all about deep emotions and personal truth, but what listeners actually got felt completely different from that expectation, and not in a good way. From the very beginning, the vibe felt off to a lot of people watching and listening.
Oh my God, that hat. Oh God, he's so hot. Look at him. Isn't Prince Harry? She bagged a fox. But look how nice is she, pulling away from her lovely prince. It's so good. Who's filming this? And Meghan started accepting all these compliments. I know I'm great, aren't I?
And she also is pretending like she's crying. We zoomed in just to see. There isn't a tear in sight. Dan, look at this. I invite the viewers to take a close-up look at this. Where's the tear?
Instead of a natural conversation flowing between two people, it came across more like a staged setup, like every word and every pause had already been planned out before the cameras even started rolling. The host herself didn't escape criticism either, with some viewers calling the whole interaction painfully awkward and hard to watch. And as for Meghan, people started comparing her tone and reactions to those overly scripted cooking moments from her Netflix appearances, saying it felt more like acting than real emotion. Then came the emotional part that was clearly meant to hit hard. Meghan dabbed at her eyes, her voice shaking slightly as she talked about the pressure she claims to deal with every day, trying to paint a picture of someone overwhelmed and struggling under the spotlight. But here's where things took a turn, because a lot of viewers noticed something didn't quite match up. Despite the trembling voice and the gestures, there were no real tears, no visible emotion breaking through, just the appearance of crying without the actual substance behind it. Social media picked up on that almost instantly, and once it started, it spread like wildfire.
Yeah, they get that. Yeah. Oh, I can do that so well. Oh my God, it's crazy. They're like, Meghan, one tear, left eye, go. Give me 3 seconds.
But to the world, it's just, what has she been doing? Does she work? As opposed to, oh my gosh, I work so hard and I appreciate what hard work looks like. I like working hard.
The beginning of that clip where she's like, oh my God. It's like, it's so inauthentic.
Meghan, how are you? And are you okay?
That's so kind. I am. I'm better than okay. How are you?
That smile's a little bit over the top. And that single shoulder shrug she has, that usually indicates that person isn't very confident with their answer or their statement.
People began calling out what they saw as over-the-top theatrics, questioning whether the moment was genuine or just another performance designed for attention. And then, as if things couldn't get worse, an old clip resurfaced right on time. In that video, Meghan is seen casually joking about being able to cry on command, almost like it's a skill she's proud of. And that clip hit the internet at the worst possible moment for her. That old footage didn't just sit quietly either. It exploded across platforms, adding fuel to an already burning conversation. Suddenly, that emotional podcast moment didn't look raw anymore. It looked rehearsed, calculated, and way too convenient for comfort. People started asking the big question out loud. Was this a genuine breakdown or just another camera-ready act designed to control the narrative? And once that doubt sets in, it's hard to shake it off no matter how emotional the delivery seems. Just when things seemed like they might calm down a bit, another voice jumped into the mix and turned the heat all the way up again. Body language expert Scott Rouse stepped in and gave his own breakdown. And that's when the conversation got even more intense. Rouse,
which the royal family was like, hey, let's not talk about the king's mortality because you don't know, specifically because the king has refused to speak to you since February 2024. Now, that is over a year ago.
How are Prince William and his wife, Kate Middleton, responding?
They're done. They're done. William doesn't even want to hear Harry's name anymore. He's just kind of like, don't bring him up. We're good.
I don't know how much longer my father has. He won't speak to me because of this security stuff. I would love reconciliation with my family. I've always, there's no point in continuing to fight anymore. As I said, life is precious.
If you are trying to reconcile with your family, if you are trying to make amends, you don't go on TV and blame them again. This is literally the last thing.
Didn't hold back as he analysed every little detail, pointing out excessive blinking, stiff facial expressions, and gestures that didn't quite line up with the words being spoken. According to him, these small nonverbal signals can sometimes reveal discomfort or even possible deception, and that got people paying even closer attention. What really stood out in his analysis was the contrast between Meghan's voice and her face. While her tone carried emotion and weight, her facial expression stayed almost completely neutral, with no visible tension or natural reaction that you'd expect in a truly emotional moment. That breakdown didn't just add to the conversation, it completely reignited it. Suddenly, people weren't just listening anymore, they were watching closely, analysing every blink, every glance, every slight movement like they were trying to decode a hidden message. And then came another moment that was supposed to feel warm and heartfelt, but ended up raising even more questions. Meghan shared that she writes nightly emails to her children so they can read them when they're older. a gesture that sounds sweet on the surface. But once again, social media didn't fully buy into it. Instead of seeing it as a genuine parenting moment, some people viewed it as another carefully crafted PR move, something designed to build a certain image rather than reflect real-life behavior. At this point, even the smallest details aren't escaping scrutiny anymore, and that includes things most people wouldn't even notice. During the podcast, a simple image flashed on screen, just a gift basket with a handwritten card, nothing too dramatic at first glance. But viewers with sharp eyes caught something instantly, and it didn't take long for that detail to spread everywhere. The card was signed, Her Royal Highness, and that one line sparked a whole new wave of criticism. The issue is clear and simple. She's not supposed to use that title anymore after stepping back from royal duties, and seeing it written out like that raised serious questions about whether it was intentional or just a careless slip. People started debating immediately, asking if it was a subtle flex, a habit she couldn't break, or a deliberate move to hold on to something that no longer officially belongs to her. And when that detail made its rounds online, it didn't just cause mild reactions, it triggered a full-blown backlash. Critics called it out as out of touch, while even some longtime supporters admitted it didn't sit right with them at all. One comment that gained traction summed up the frustration perfectly, saying that you can't have it both ways. And that sentiment echoed across countless discussions as people weighed in from every angle. Now, the situation isn't just about public opinion anymore. It's starting to reach deeper into the royal family itself, creating pressure that's hard to ignore. A recent poll made headlines after showing that a massive 97% of respondents believe King Charles should formally strip Meghan and Harry of their royal titles. That's not a quiet suggestion, that's a loud and clear message from the public, saying they've had enough of the back and forth, enough of the mixed signals, and enough of the ongoing drama playing out in real time. While King Charles appears to be keeping his distance publicly, reports suggest that Prince William is taking a much firmer stance behind the scenes. Insiders claim he sees the situation as more than just family conflict, viewing it as something that directly impacts the monarchy's reputation. According to those reports, when his time comes, he may not hesitate to make bold decisions if he believes it's necessary to protect the institution's image. To him, it's not just drama, it's a matter of loyalty and trust, and that line once crossed can't easily be repaired. Whether those actions actually happen or not, one thing is crystal clear. This situation has gone far beyond private disagreements. What used to be family tension has now turned into a global spectacle, unfolding right in front of everyone watching closely. And right in the middle of all this, Prince Harry continues to speak out about his own frustrations, especially when it comes to security for his family. He's made it known that he feels strongly about needing protection, but the way he's going about it has sparked even more debate. He pointed fingers at the royal institution, expecting them to provide security without him covering the cost himself. And that expectation didn't sit well with many people following the story. In the end, that battle didn't go in his favour, and the message from the palace was direct and firm. If you choose to step away from royal duties, then you also step away from the privileges that come with it, and that includes the perks he's now asking for. Meghan Markle, once again, is stepping into a new wave of business moves and public attention, and this time, it's her rebranding game that's got people talking loud and non-stop. She's been pushing forward with her lifestyle brand, originally introduced as American Riviera Orchard, but somewhere along the way, things shifted, and the name quietly changed to As Ever. That switch didn't just happen in silence, it came with a whole storm of reactions, confusion, and people trying to figure out what the real strategy even is behind it all. What makes this even more interesting is how fast the internet caught on to the details surrounding the rebrand. Almost instantly, people started digging and pointing out that the new name wasn't as original as it looked on the surface. There were already small businesses out there using similar branding, and that immediately raised questions about research, planning, and how carefully everything was actually thought through before launching something so public. And then things didn't stop there, because another detail sparked even more online noise. The logo tied to the new branding started circulating, and viewers noticed something familiar about it. It was being compared to a coat of arms from a town in Spain, and that similarity quickly turned into a whole discussion online, with people debating whether it was coincidence, inspiration, or just a major oversight that slipped through the cracks. The moment that comparison hit social platforms, the reaction wasn't exactly quiet or forgiving either. Instead of smooth excitement about a new brand launch, the conversation turned sharp, with critics saying the whole rollout looked rushed and messy behind the polished image. Some people even described it as a scramble for attention and income rather than a carefully built business expansion. Still, despite all that noise, one thing did happen that supporters quickly pointed out. The products reportedly sold out within about 30 minutes of release, which on paper sounds like a huge success story. But critics weren't fully impressed because many argued the limited stock made it easier to create that sold-out moment, turning what looked like massive demand into something a bit more strategic and controlled behind the scenes. And just when it seemed like the conversation might slow down, another wave of controversy started building, and this time it came from something completely different. A DIY bath salt recipe that was shared in Meghan's Netflix-related content suddenly became the center of a legal discussion that nobody saw coming. According to claims circulating online, a woman named Robin Patrick from Maryland says she followed that exact recipe and ended up experiencing serious skin reactions, including burns and ulcers. She reportedly has diabetes, and she believes certain ingredients in the mixture may have worsened her condition in a harmful way, which immediately turned this from a simple wellness idea into something far more serious. What really escalated the situation was the fact that this isn't just being talked about casually anymore. There are claims that legal action could be involved, with the potential of a lawsuit reaching up to $10 million in damages being discussed online. It's also been said that Netflix and Archewell Productions could be named in connection with the issue, which instantly raised the stakes and pushed the story even further into public attention. At this point, things are no longer just about online criticism or social media debate. If these claims move forward legally, it could turn into a full-scale legal battle, involving multiple parties, contracts, and responsibilities being questioned in a very public way. Robin Patrick has also reportedly expressed willingness to settle the matter outside of court if an agreement is reached early, which adds another layer of uncertainty to the situation. It's the kind of case that could either quietly disappear with a settlement or explode into something much bigger, depending on how it develops. But even before all of this recent wave of headlines, Meghan Markle's past has long been a subject of internet speculation, theories, and non-stop discussion across social platforms. Long before her life became tied to royal titles and global media deals, people online have always tried to piece together different parts of her early public journey. One of the most repeated and controversial internet rumors involves claims that she may have attended exclusive social gatherings in her earlier years, often described online in exaggerated and speculative ways. However, it's important to note that these are online claims and discussions, and no verified evidence has ever confirmed these narratives, despite how widely they circulate across forums and gossip spaces. Still, the internet doesn't slow down, and once a story catches traction, it tends to grow far beyond its original form. These discussions continue to resurface every time Meghan is back in the spotlight, showing just how persistent online speculation can become, even when facts remain unclear or unverified. Another long-running discussion online revolves around the idea that Meghan may have known more about the royal family before meeting Prince Harry than she publicly stated. Some people point to old blog posts, interviews, and comments from acquaintances that suggest she had at least some level of awareness or interest in royal life long before their relationship became public. While Meghan has publicly shared that she didn't have deep knowledge of Prince Harry or royal traditions before they met, the internet has continued to debate that narrative. Supporters say it was a genuine, unexpected connection, while critics argue there were signs of long-standing curiosity or interest that tell a different version of the story. And this is where public perception really starts to split into different directions. Some people see all of this as harmless curiosity, just internet users trying to connect dots and build timelines. Others, however, believe it paints a more calculated picture, suggesting that ambition and timing may have played a bigger role than what was publicly presented. Whether those interpretations are fair or not, one thing is undeniable. Meghan and Harry's public journey has become one of the most heavily analysed modern royal-related stories in the world. Every move, every statement, and every project seems to get dissected in real time by millions of people online. With every new headline, the narrative grows more layered and more complicated, blending business ventures, personal branding, media deals, and public perception into one ongoing conversation that never really slows down. It's no longer just about royalty or celebrity, it's about how modern fame itself operates under constant scrutiny. Some observers even describe it as a masterclass in media strategy, while others see it as a constant cycle of controversy and reinvention. Either way, Meghan and Harry have undeniably reshaped how public figures interact with media, audiences, and personal storytelling in today's digital world. And as the discussions continue, the bigger question floating around online is simple but powerful. Are they rewriting the rules of fame and public life? Or are they just playing a different version of the same system that has always existed, just on a much louder stage with far more attention? What makes this story even more intense is how fast public opinion can shift. One moment, something is celebrated, and the next moment is being questioned, analysed, and debated from every possible angle across platforms. At the end of the day, whether people view them as misunderstood figures, navigating constant pressure, or strategic media personalities carefully shaping their image, the conversation around Meghan and Harry shows no signs of slowing down anytime soon. And as long as new projects, interviews, and business moves keep coming, the spotlight is likely to stay right where it is, with every detail being watched, discussed, and interpreted in real time by a global audience that never stops analysing. If you've made it this far, you're clearly following the story closely. Don't forget to hit and drop a comment with your thoughts and subscribe for more deep dives and updates. Let's keep the conversation going.